Starting a poultry farm as a side hustle is an exciting journey, but it's one that requires careful planning and preparation to succeed. Every step in the process plays a vital role in shaping your success, and skipping even one could lead to costly mistakes. In this video, I'm going to talk about budgeting, which is the most important and unskippable step in the process. However, it's not the first step. The first and most important step is market assessment, which I have already talked about in part 1 of this series. You will get the link in the description. Before you do anything else, you need to understand the demand in your area, who your customers are, what they want, and how much they're willing to pay. This knowledge will serve as the foundation of your entire operation. Once you have a clear picture of the market, the next step is setting goals and objectives that align with your findings. Are you raising chickens for eggs, meat, or both? Do you want to serve a niche market, such as organic or free-range poultry? Defining your goals will give you direction and help you stay focused as you build your farm. With a clear vision in place, it's time to move on to one of the most critical steps: budgeting. Think of your budget as the backbone of your operation. It keeps your plans grounded and realistic. Without it, it's easy to underestimate expenses or overestimate profits, which can lead to setbacks or even derail your efforts altogether. Under budgeting, the first thing you need to consider is your initial setup costs. These are the upfront investments required to get your farm off the ground. For instance, you'll need a suitable chicken coop, and this isn't just any shelter. It needs to be secure, well ventilated, and spacious enough to keep your birds healthy and comfortable. If you're handy, you might opt to build the coop yourself to save money, but if not, purchasing a pre-made one could be an option. Either way, it's important to allocate funds for quality, because a poorly constructed coop can lead to stress, illness, or even loss of your flock. In addition to the coop, there's essential equipment to think about. Feeders and waterers are non-negotiable, as they ensure your birds have easy access to food and clean water. Then there's bedding for the coop to keep the environment clean and sanitary, which helps prevent disease. If you're starting with day-old chicks, you'll also need a heat lamp or another reliable heat source like coal or charcoal to maintain the right temperature during their delicate early weeks. These are not optional expenses. They're critical to ensuring the health and productivity of your flock. The next thing you should budget for is your first flock. But before you get started, there's one very important decision you need to make. Should you begin with day-old chicks or pullets? This choice might seem simple, but it's critical to the success of your farm, because it will determine how you set up, how much time you invest, and how your farm performs over time. Let me take you through this in a way that makes sense, especially if you're starting from scratch. Let's begin with day-old chicks. Day-old chicks are just that: tiny, fragile, and freshly hatched. They're often the cheaper option, which makes them appealing for anyone starting on a small budget. But here's the catch: they need a lot of attention, especially during their first few weeks. At this stage, they're too weak to regulate their own body temperature, so you'll need to set up a brooder with a proper heat source, like a heat lamp or charcoal stove, to keep them warm. On top of that, they require frequent checks. You'll need to ensure they have access to clean water, the right feed, and a safe environment. Now, this might sound like a lot of work, and it is, but here's the good part. Raising chicks from day one gives you full control. You oversee everything from the quality of feed they eat to their vaccination schedule, ensuring they grow into strong, healthy birds. And let me tell you, this control is important. Birds that are properly raised from the start will reward you with better performance, whether it's higher egg production from layers or faster growth if you are raising broilers for meat. Yes, it requires time, care, and planning, but if you're willing to commit, day-old chicks can be a fantastic investment. Now let's talk about the other option: pullets. Pullets are young hens that are almost ready to lay eggs, typically around 16 to 20 weeks old. If you're looking to save time and avoid the demanding work of brooding chicks, pullets might seem like the perfect solution. They come at a higher cost, of course, because someone else has already done the hard work of raising them, but the convenience is undeniable. You bring them home, and within a short time, you can expect eggs on your table. However, this convenience comes with its own risks. The biggest challenge with pullets is trust. When you buy pullets, you're relying on someone else to have done things the right way. Were the birds fed properly? Were they vaccinated? Were they raised in clean, healthy conditions? You can't always know for sure. The danger here is that some sellers, especially unreliable ones, might sell you birds that look healthy on the surface but have hidden problems. These could be poorly raised birds, unvaccinated birds, or even sick birds that won't perform well. And here's the thing, the early life of a bird matters a lot. If pullets are mistreated or neglected when they're young, they'll never reach their full potential. Layers might lay fewer eggs, and broilers may not grow as they should. That can result in a big loss for you, both financially and emotionally. So how do you decide between the two? Well, if you're starting on a tight budget, have the time, and are eager to learn, then day-old chicks are a great choice. They allow you to take control right from the start, and while they demand effort, the rewards are worth it. On the other hand, if you're short on time, have a bit more money to invest, and want faster results, pullets can help you hit the ground running. But, and this is important, if you choose pullets, you need to buy them from a trustworthy seller. Ask questions. Find out about their vaccination history, what feed they've been given, and how they were raised. If possible, visit the farm and see the conditions for yourself. It's better to take the time to ensure you're buying quality birds than to rush into a decision and suffer losses later. At the end of the day, whether you start with day-old chicks or pullets, the key to success lies in preparation. If you go for chicks, make sure your brooder is ready, the heat source is in place, and you have everything you need to care for them. If you choose pullets, take the extra step to verify their quality before buying. Remember, poorly raised birds, no matter their age, will not perform well, and that's a challenge you want to avoid. Starting a poultry farm is an exciting journey, but it requires thought and planning. Take your time, weigh your options, and make the choice that fits your lifestyle, budget, and goals. Whether you choose the hands-on approach with day-old chicks or the convenience of pullets, you're taking a step toward building something valuable. Be prepared, start small, and grow gradually. Before we move to the next point, if you're finding value in this video, take a moment to hit the like button. That simple action not only supports this channel, but also helps more people discover this valuable information. Let's share the knowledge. When it comes to poultry farming, budgeting for chicken feed is one of the most critical steps you must take, even before bringing in your birds. Feed is the single largest recurring expense in poultry farming, and failing to plan for it properly can lead to serious challenges, from malnutrition and poor growth to reduced egg production and, in extreme cases, losing your flock altogether. Feed is the fuel that drives your poultry business, so it's crucial to get this part of your budgeting right. Before you bring in your birds, take the time to calculate exactly how much feed you'll need and for how long. Chickens eat every day, and their dietary needs change as they grow. Day-old chicks, for example, require starter feed, which is specifically formulated to support their rapid growth and build their immunity during those crucial first weeks. As they grow, they'll transition to grower feed, and if you're raising layers, they'll eventually require layer feed, which is enriched with nutrients to support egg production. Each of these feeds comes at a different price, so understanding the nutritional stages of your birds is essential to creating a realistic feed budget. The number of birds you plan to raise also directly impacts your feed budget. A small flock will naturally require less feed, but even with fewer birds, failing to allocate sufficient funds for feed can lead to stressful situations. Running out of feed unexpectedly or trying to cut corners by purchasing low-quality alternatives can have serious consequences. Poorly fed birds are more prone to illness, slower growth, fewer eggs, and overall poor performance, all of which can eat into your profits. Now, here's where strategic planning can save you money. If possible, buy your feed in bulk. Purchasing in bulk often comes with discounts, which can significantly reduce your overall feed costs. Additionally, buying when prices are low, such as during harvest seasons when raw materials like maize are more affordable, can give you a financial advantage. However, bulk buying comes with its own considerations. Proper storage is absolutely critical. Feed must be kept in a cool, dry place that is safe from pests like rats, insects, or moisture, which can spoil the feed and make it unsafe for your birds. Airtight bins, sealed bags, or storage containers can help ensure your feed remains fresh and uncontaminated. And remember, not all types of feed can be stored for long periods. For instance, feed sources like maize bran have a shorter shelf life and can develop mold if kept for too long. This is why it's important to balance your bulk buying strategy with the practical limitations of storage. If you're planning to buy in bulk, focus on feed types that are less perishable and only buy shorter shelf life feed in quantities you can use within a reasonable time frame. Additionally, always keep an eye on feed prices in your area. Prices can fluctuate due to factors like supply chain disruptions, seasonal demand, or inflation. Building a buffer into your feed budget to account for these variations will help ensure you're never caught off guard. By planning for chicken feed in advance and considering strategies like bulk buying, you're not just managing an expense, you're safeguarding the health and productivity of your flock. Well-fed birds grow stronger, lay more eggs, and generate better profits. Feed is more than just a cost. It's an investment in the success of your poultry farming side hustle. Planning ahead will not only reduce stress, but also give you confidence that you're setting your operation up for long-term success. Next is budgeting for chicken health, which is an essential step that cannot be overlooked, especially if you've chosen to raise day-old chicks. These young, vulnerable birds require more than just food and shelter. They need proactive care to ensure they grow into healthy, productive chickens. This means allocating funds for vaccines, biosecurity measures, supplements, and medications as part of your overall budget. Neglecting this area can lead to preventable losses and ultimately jeopardize the success of your venture. First, let's talk about vaccinations. Vaccines are a crucial line of defense against common poultry diseases like Newcastle disease, Marek's disease, and infectious bronchitis. These diseases can spread rapidly and wipe out an entire flock if proper precautions aren't taken. Vaccinating your birds is a relatively small cost compared to the devastating losses you could face without it. Day-old chicks, in particular, are at a critical stage of development, and some vaccines are most effective when administered early. While you might be tempted to skip this expense, remember that prevention is always cheaper and less stressful than treatment. Next is biosecurity, which is all about keeping your birds safe from disease-causing agents. One of the simplest and most effective biosecurity practices is disinfection. Before your chicks arrive, you'll need to thoroughly clean and disinfect the coop, feeders, drinkers, and any other equipment. Investing in a high-quality disinfectant should be part of your budget, as it helps eliminate harmful bacteria and viruses that could harm your flock. Maintaining biosecurity also involves practices like limiting access to your co-op, disinfecting footwear before entering, and keeping the area free of pests like rodents or wild birds that can carry diseases. These small steps go a long way in protecting your investment. For day-old chicks, supplements like glucose and multivitamins are indispensable in the early days. The stress of transportation and adjusting to a new environment can take a toll on their tiny bodies. Providing glucose in their drinking water during the first few days gives them an energy boost, while multivitamins help strengthen their immune systems and support healthy growth. These supplements are not expensive, but they play a critical role in giving your chicks a strong start. Including them in your budget ensures you're prepared to meet their needs from day one. In addition to vaccines and supplements, it's wise to budget for general medications and emergency treatments. Even with the best care, illnesses can sometimes arise. Having a small fund set aside for treatments like antibiotics or dewormers can help you act quickly and avoid losing birds unnecessarily. While you may not use these medications often, having them on hand or knowing where to access them can save you time and money when issues arise. Ultimately, budgeting for vaccines, biosecurity, supplements, and medications is about safeguarding the health and productivity of your flock. Healthy birds grow faster, lay more eggs, and bring better returns, while poor health can derail your entire operation. By prioritizing these expenses in your budget, you're not just taking care of your chickens, you're protecting your investment and ensuring your side hustle has the best chance of success. Always remember, in poultry farming, prevention and preparation are key to thriving, not just surviving. And that wraps up our discussion on budgeting, an essential, non-negotiable step in starting your poultry farming side hustle. Remember, your budget is the foundation of your entire operation, ensuring you're prepared for every expense and challenge that comes your way. This was part 2 of our complete beginner's guide to starting poultry farming as a side hustle. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next part of this series. There's plenty more to learn, and you won't want to miss the valuable insights coming your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.